Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Today we've been invited aboard USS Hornet for their third annual Carrier Con, and we are on here, and one of the more common questions I've been asked throughout the day is, well, which one's bigger, New Jersey or Hornet? And my response throughout the day has been, well, what is your metric for bigger? So if you're saying which one is heavier, for example, Iowa-class battleships displaced 57,500 tons fully loaded, more like 58,000 tons for Missouri and Wisconsin with their thicker bulkheads. Whereas an Essex Class Carrier only displaces 40,000 fully loaded in her largest configuration. The displacement of the Iowa-class does not change much from configuration to configuration, but the Essexes gained something like 7,000 tons over their career and went from about 33,000 fully loaded in World War II to 40 with all their conversions and angled flight decks and whatnot. So even there, during World War II, an Iowa is significantly heavier. Post-World War II, less heavy. Maybe you're talking about the amount of fuel on board. The Iowas carry more than the Essexes. Maybe you're talking about the number of rooms. An Iowa has 1,600 individual compartments, but an Essex has 4,000, even though in many respects it is the smaller ship. It is taller and has more like blocky square areas. Before we go too far, we're at the number one wire about 50 feet from the fantail of USS Hornet. So you're seeing most of about 90% of the flight deck here sprawled out behind me to give you an idea of the size of this ship, which was not large enough for the jet fighters at the end of her career, so she was redesignated for carrying anti-submarine helicopters. More modern aircraft carriers have an even larger 4.5-acre flight deck than these. Of course, if you're talking about any metric in guns or armor, the Iowa-class battleships just blow Essex-class carriers out of the water. If you're talking about crew size, again, it doesn't come close. Iowas are designed for about 2,000 with about 2,700 max, whereas the Essexes were designed for about 3,000 when you include ship's company, and they got close to 4,000 during World War II, depending on the ship and if they had a flagstaff on board, and were usually around 3,500 in their post-war configurations like Hornet is in now. So usually when people are talking about size, they mean something along the lines of length and width. So just to recap, an Iowa-class battleship, 887 feet and a variable number of inches. Check out the video linked in the description below where we talk about how the length of an Iowa-class battleship might vary. And they're 108 foot and a couple of inches wide, with a draft of 38 feet. As built, the original run of short-haul Essex-class carriers were 820 feet long at the waterline compared to 860 for an Iowa. They were 876 feet long overall as built during World War II, but that number grew to 888 feet long overall for the long-haul conversions when they added some extra 40mm gun tubs projecting over the bow and stern. The hull of an Essex-class carrier as built in World War II was 93 feet wide. However, when you factor in the flight deck, the ships were 147 feet wide. Now that all goes out the window during post-war SCB conversions, and the various Essex-class carriers go through a number of conversions. We'll talk about Hornet in her current configuration because that's what you're looking at behind me right now. So her length overall goes up to 893 feet. That is now, because of the hurricane enclosed bow, the length of the hull and the length of the flight deck. Her beam goes up to 192 feet with the angled flight deck. And her draught is only 29 feet, whereas during World War II it was a little bit deeper, approaching 34 feet, but still shallow compared to the 38 feet of an Iowa-class battleship. Which one is bigger? That's the question we always get asked. Now that we've gone through all these numbers, Iowa-class battleships have a larger hull. They are significantly heavier. But Essex-class carriers at the end of the day, are longer and wider thanks to their flight decks. Which of these dimensions is most important for you when you're asking YouTubers you meet in real life which one is bigger? Let us know in the comment section down below. And don't even get me started on which tonnage measurement you care about, whether it's light load, standard load, battle load, full load. There's as much as 10,000 tons of difference between any of these displacements on a ship this size. But again, which ones matter the most to you? Let us know in the comment section down below. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. Consider donating to support the ongoing restoration efforts here on USS Hornet in Alameda, California. You can support Battleship New Jersey by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find about us and our channel. Thanks for watching.